As my knuckles would get closer to my forearm, you can see how that would open the club face. See how that makes the toe behind the heel. And that'd be the same thing that would happen during the downswing if I do that. Knuckles close to my forearm, toe behind the heel. Now watch as I get my knuckles farther from my forearm, what that does to the club face. It closes the club face. The toe in front of the heel closes the club face. Now why would I want to do that during the downswing? Well, I want to do that so that I can get the handle forward, right? Compress the ball, lower my dynamic loft, hit the ball really solid and far. Hey guys, Eric here out at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, we're going to talk about how the left arm and wrist work during the downswing, or the lead arm, for those of you who are lefties, but for righties, we're talking about left arm. And really my favorite swing field, there's two things in particular that I want you to do to really help compress the ball, both with the irons, the wedges, and the driver. Now, I want to talk to you guys today, before we dive in, about CogornoGolf.com. CogornoGolf.com is where we can work together. It's our online golf school where you can send in your swings for video feedback, so we can help you identify your priorities, how to work through the things we talk about here in the video, but even beyond that, right? Specific drills to do, how many reps to do, when to move on to the next piece. We have an awesome group of coaches, an awesome community of golfers to really help you take your game to the next level. You get access to all the practice info, right? You get access to all the master classes, and all the coaches, we're in there. I'm in there every single day. We're having conversations, answering questions to really help guide you along the way. So it's not just a swing review and then, hey, good luck, right? We really help guide you through the fields, what to expect. You're gonna absolutely love it. CogornoGolf.com. We'll put in a link down below. So how the left arm works during the downswing, and really this is a feel that I've played with really for various things, parts throughout my whole life. Now we're going to talk today about the lead arm and the lead wrist. That doesn't mean you can't think about the right arm or the right wrist. Neither one of those are correct nor incorrect, but we're going to just talk lead arm in this video. Now the first thing I'm going to come up and show you that I want you to feel is how your lead wrist works relative to your arm. So if I have a flat left wrist condition, you can see that my forearm and my wrist are right in line with each other. Now, it depends a little bit on your grip. It depends a little bit on where your wrists are at the top. But for the sake of just conversation here, for a normal model, I would like you during your entire downswing to feel like your knuckles get farther away from your forearm. So watch this here. Here's my knuckles getting farther from my forearm. So see this angle here, it's going to get wider as my knuckles get farther away from my forearm. Now the opposite of that, this will be bad for most all of us, would be the knuckles getting closer to the forearm when you start down. Closer when you start down. So knuckles away from forearm. Now if I back up so you can see the club and the club face, as my knuckles get farther from my forearm, notice that what that does to the club face and shaft. That closes the club face and it shallows the shaft angle. Now if I do the opposite, let's say I come up here and I get my knuckles closer to my forearm, as I start down, notice what that does to my shaft. That steepens it and it opens the club face. So I want you to feel the knuckles farther from the forearm immediately as you start your downswing, and I want you to feel it the entire downswing all the way to impact. So just with that feel first, and we'll talk about the second feel, I'm going to go up to the top. I'm going to feel the knuckles farther from my forearm. And that's a really nice feel to get those wrist angles correct, to get the lead wrist bowing a little bit, to get the trail wrist bending back for the purpose of closing the club face, shallowing the shaft. Let's hit one with that, and then we'll talk more about it. So knuckles farther from the forearm right away when I start my downswing. Yeah, I mean, that's about as good as I can compress a golf ball. Now, the knuckles from my forearm, right as I do, even if I just do that with a club right up in front of me from the face-on camera, as my knuckles would get closer to my forearm, you can see how that would open the club face. See how that makes the toe behind the heel. And that'd be the same thing that would happen during the downswing if I do that. Knuckles close to my forearm, toe behind the heel. Now watch as I get my knuckles farther from my forearm, what that does to the club face. It closes the club face. The toe in front of the heel closes the club face. Now why would I want to do that during the downswing? Well, I want to do that so that I can get the handle forward, right? Compress the ball, lower my dynamic loft, hit the ball really solid and far. So knuckles farther from forearm. Let's do one more, then I'll talk to you about the next feel. And it could be as simple as that for you, how the left arm works. This is really how the left wrist works. You're going from wherever you are towards flexion of the wrist, knuckles farther from forearm. And that's another one about as good as I can hit it. The swing feels good. Now, the second part of this feel that I would talk about would be the arm rotation. Now, the simple version of that is I would take this glove logo and I would make the logo point towards the target by impact. Now, that depends a little bit from face on about your grip. If I had a really strong grip to start, so very turned clockwise, if you hold your thumb out in front of you, let's say that's 12 o'clock, if you turn your thumb towards about 2 o'clock, now the logo points away from you. That's a strong grip. If I've got a strong grip like that, by the time I get to impact, my logo won't face towards the target. It will face a little bit away from me. But if I've got more of a neutral grip, where my thumb's only turned towards about 1 o'clock, then I want to feel like my logo in my glove points back to the target. As I'm doing that motion, I'm now combining that flexion motion, knuckles farther from forearm, with supination, which is the back of my hand towards the target. So if I held my thumb up like this, by the time I'm here at delivery, my thumb points straight behind me. By impact, my thumb should point towards the ball. Straight behind me, towards the ball. Now as I'm doing that, I'm still feeling my knuckles farther from my forearm. I'm feeling my knuckles farther from my forearm. How many times am I going to say that in this video? All the way to impact, even past impact. And my thumb gets pointed towards the ball. So that's the second move, which is the supination. Lead wrist flexion, knuckles farther from forearm, and supination, which is the back of the hand or logo at the target combined. So as I'm feeling that, this is the same with a sand wedge, same with a driver, 3-wood. I would feel here, knuckles getting away from forearm, and now I'm feeling my back of my hand start pointing all the way towards the target. That supination move. So I don't want to do knuckles away from forearm and just keep dragging the club forever. The face will be too open. I have to add a little bit of that supination at the bottom. So I'm feeling the knuckles during the entire downswing, and I'm feeling the back of the hand point towards the target. Those two feels together are really some of my favorite swing feels. Yeah, perfect. And again, I'm feeling this with all clubs. I'm feeling it immediately as I start my downswing, and I'm feeling it all the way to and through impact. One more time, knuckles farther from my forearm, back of the hand at the target by the time I get to impact. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, good. Now, the more I do those things, all else equal, I said that closes the club face, right? Toe in front of the heel. So relative to whatever your current ball flight pattern is, the more you do those two, the lower the ball should go relative to normal, but solid, and the ball would curve more left, again, relative to your normal. So both of those things lower the loft, close the club face. So those are the two pieces in terms of how the left arm works during the downswing that I think are really important and all of us can plan. Again, it does depend a little bit on your grip at the top, but I would say as a stock model, if you hit the ball weak, lack of compression, too far to the right, do those a lot, do them during the entire downswing. That's how the left arm works. If you guys enjoyed this video, we're gonna put another video on the screen about how the left arm works in the swing. You guys can click that. We'll also put a logo to CogornoGolf.com. Would love to work with you there.